20 advanced features in classic cars that were decades ahead. Let's turn back time to an era where engineers were still aspiring to the future. Can you believe that as early as 1930 there was a car that self-parked using a mysterious fifth wheel, and another car that had a cockpit dashboard? These were technologies decades ahead of their time, but were forgotten because they were too complex or hindered by law. Let's explore these groundbreaking legacies. The fifth wheel for parallel parking. Do you remember the sweat-inducing feeling of parallel parking into a tiny space? It's like a driving skill test that not everyone confidently passes. Having to adjust the steering angle in cramped urban spaces has always been a nightmare, a long-standing issue in automotive history. However, as early as the 1930s, a man named Brooks Walker had a brilliant idea to solve this problem. He called his invention the park car. His idea was simple yet extremely clever, adding a retractable fifth wheel deployed from the rear of the car. When parallel parking, the driver simply lowers this wheel with a button. The wheel lifts the rear and allows the car to rotate sideways easily into the parking space. Brooks Walker demonstrated this invention on a Packard in 1933, and later on other models like the 1951 Cadillac. However, this system was never widely adopted by major automakers. It faced significant technical and economic challenges. A major issue was the complexity and high production and installation cost, estimated at about $175 at the time, equivalent to about $1,800 today. Furthermore, this mechanism added weight and took up valuable trunk space. The public was skeptical, many viewing it as an expensive toy rather than a practical solution. By the 1950s, with the advent of power steering and design improvements making cars more maneuverable, the need for a complex parking assistance device gradually decreased. Digital dashboard. Imagine a car from the 80s with a spaceship cockpit dashboard. While most other cars still used analog gauges and simple indicator lights, Aston Martin made an astonishingly bold move. In 1980, the Aston Martin Lagonda Series 2 shocked the world by launching with the first fully digital dashboard. This wedge-shaped Lagonda was revolutionary not only in appearance but also in technology. It displayed critical information like speed, fuel level, and gear position on three 5-inch cathode ray tube (CRT) screens, along with touch controls. Sitting in the Lagonda's cockpit was like stepping into a science fiction movie, offering an innovative and high-tech interface. Aston Martin aimed to create a car that was not only elegant, but also technologically ahead of its time. But the technology was not ready for this complexity. The biggest issue was the extremely poor reliability, often malfunctioning and leading to frequent maintenance problems. Aston Martin engineers struggled with this complex electronic system, resulting in countless complaints and high maintenance costs. Early 80s CRT and electronic components simply weren't durable enough to withstand the harsh conditions of the automotive environment. Although many appreciated the innovative approach and the glimpse into the future of automotive technology, the frequent technical issues diminished public enthusiasm. Keyless entry system. Do you remember the days of fumbling for keys in your pocket, especially when your hands were full? Having to insert the key into the lock, especially at night or in the rain, was a nuisance that we have almost forgotten today. It was at this time that Ford introduced the keyless entry system, a revolutionary feature that offered unprecedented convenience and security. The original system, called Secure Code, included a numerical keypad mounted on the door. Owners could input a 5-digit code to unlock the car doors. This system allowed the driver to unlock the car doors and all doors or the trunk by pressing specific combinations. This feature was especially convenient for quick access or when carrying multiple items, eliminating the need to insert a key into the lock. This was a significant difference from traditional key-based systems, offering unparalleled convenience. Furthermore, it enhanced security, as without the correct code, thieves found it difficult to unlock the door. Ford's implementation of keyless entry received widespread acclaim for its ease of use and enhanced security. In the early years, this technology saw limited adoption in the broader market due to higher production costs and the complexity of integrating electronic systems into the car. Some consumers were also skeptical about the reliability of early electronic systems and the potential for malfunction. This feature was mainly equipped on premium models like the Ford Thunderbird and Lincoln Mark VI. Ford continued to improve this technology. Thanks to advancements in electronics and battery technology, these systems became more reliable and affordable. GM EV1, first mass-produced EV. Before the Tesla era, there was a dream of electric vehicles from a major American manufacturer. The story of the GM EV1 is an emotional and controversial chapter in EV history. In 1996, General Motors, GM, introduced the EV1, the first mass-produced electric car in the modern era. GM's main purpose at the time was to meet the strict emission regulations of California. The car had a very distinctive aerodynamic design, minimizing drag to increase efficiency and driving range. Initially, the EV1 used lead-acid batteries, later upgraded to nickel-metal hydride (NiMH) batteries in 1999, providing a range of about 140 miles in the second generation. The car also utilized modern inductive charging technology. The reaction from EV1 renters was very positive. They praised its quiet operation, zero emissions, and futuristic design. EV1 drivers were passionate about the car, even forming a community of enthusiastic supporters, recognizing its potential to revolutionize the auto industry. However, the EV1 faced several challenges: high production costs and limited driving range compared to gasoline cars. The lack of widespread charging infrastructure was also a significant limitation. GM made a controversial decision. The EV1 was only leased, not sold. What disappointed many was the program's tragic end. In 2003, GM discontinued the EV1 program, citing financial non-viability and insufficient consumer demand. Most of the leased cars were subsequently recalled and destroyed by GM, causing fierce outrage and criticism from EV and environmental advocates. Rearview camera. Before rearview cameras became common, we only had mirrors and terrifying blind spots always existed. You hesitantly backed up, your heart beating a little faster when unsure of what was lurking right behind your car, especially the risk to children or pets. Back in 1956, the Buick Centurion concept car debuted at the General Motors Motorama with a bold idea: using a rear-view camera to entirely replace traditional mirrors. The original system was quite cumbersome. A large camera mounted in the jet-inspired rear of the car transmitted images onto a small TV screen on the dashboard. The goal was clear: to enhance driver safety, eliminating dangerous blind spots. However, the technical challenge was too great. Camera and screen technology at the time was too new, expensive, and large. The clarity and reliability of the camera were also much poorer than today. The public considered this a novelty rather than a practical improvement. The Buick Centurion remained just a concept car. The rearview camera idea was shelved for decades. It took 35 years for this idea to actually be put into a mass-produced car. The 1991 Toyota Soarer was the first car with a rearview camera feature as an option. Thanks to the advancement of digital technology and the growing emphasis on vehicle safety, this feature returned. By 2018, mandatory rearview camera regulations in the US turned it into an essential safety standard on all new vehicles, a safety vision that took decades to materialize. Did you enjoy this trip down memory lane? Don't forget to hit the hype button. It's the best way to help our channel grow. Heated seats. Imagine a freezing winter morning, stepping into your car and feeling the warm seats embracing you. What a wonderful luxury, right? Today, this feature is quite common, but back in 1966, it was extraordinary. The 1966 Cadillac Fleetwood is credited as the first car in the world equipped with a heated seat system. Cadillac truly offered unprecedented comfort, not just luxury but practicality, especially in regions with harsh winters. The system was designed to automatically activate when the cabin temperature dropped below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, about 10 degrees Celsius. The seats would warm to 85 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, using fiberglass panels interspersed with conductive carbon fibers to generate heat inside the seat cushions and backrests. Although not heavily advertised by Cadillac, the feature was quickly appreciated by luxury car buyers, providing real comfort for cold weather drives and even benefiting those with back pain. Initially, the public reception was not enthusiastic. Some considered it an unnecessary luxury, while others saw it as a relief for those needing warmth. This option had a relatively high cost of about $78 at the time, equivalent to about $612 today, and was removed after only 2 years due to limited consumer interest. Despite being temporarily discontinued, Cadillac's pioneering work set the standard for automotive comfort. Heated seats have since returned and grown in popularity. Four-wheel steering, 4WS. When it comes to handling and maneuverability, we usually only think of the front wheels. But Honda had a different idea. Why should only the front wheels be involved in steering? In 1987, the Honda Prelude introduced a fully mechanical, four-wheel steering 4WS system. This was the first mass-produced car with this feature and a bold step in improving vehicle dynamics. This mechanical system worked very cleverly. At high speeds, the rear wheels would turn in the same direction as the front wheels, enhancing stability when changing lanes or taking sharp corners. At low speeds, the rear wheels would turn in the opposite direction to the front wheels, which significantly reduced the turning radius, making parking or turning around much easier. Honda initially developed 4WS to enhance collision avoidance capabilities and provide a more dynamic driving experience. The system received high praise for its agility in corners and stability on the highway. This mechanical system was also very complex, linking the front and rear steering systems via a central shaft, and resulted in high production costs. It was also more expensive to repair. Although the handling benefits were obvious, they were not considered essential by the mass market, which prioritized cost and reliability. As a result, 4WS was discontinued on the Honda Prelude in the mid-90s. Swiveling headlights. Driving at night on winding roads can be very dangerous. Traditional headlights only shine straight ahead, forcing you to strain your eyes trying to guess what lies beyond the curve. This lack of visibility was a major danger factor, especially in the 1940s. Preston Tucker created the legendary Tucker 48 in the 1940s, featuring a unique characteristic, swiveling headlights. This feature was designed to turn the headlights according to the movement of the steering wheel and the direction of the wheels, improving night visibility when cornering and reducing blind spots. Tucker envisioned the 48 as not just a means of transport, but a safety revolution. With this feature, when the driver began to corner, the headlights would illuminate the path ahead more effectively, providing confidence and comfort while driving. The public at the time highly appreciated the potential safety benefits and the futuristic appeal of this design. Despite the promising advantage, swiveling headlights encountered technical challenges of the era. Technological limitations included the mechanical complexity and reliability of the system, which caused significant obstacles. Ensuring the swiveling mechanism operated smoothly and durably in various road conditions was a major hurdle. Along with the short-lived fate and financial barriers of the Tucker Company, this idea could not be widely adopted. Cyclops Eye. The Tucker 48 didn't just have regular swiveling headlights on the sides. Preston Tucker also introduced another unique feature aimed at enhancing safety when driving at night. A third headlight mounted centrally, nicknamed the Cyclops Eye. Launched in 1948, this central headlight was designed to automatically swivel with the steering wheel movement, especially when the steering angle was greater than 10 degrees. The purpose was to effectively illuminate corners, helping the driver see better what was coming down the road. This was a practical solution to reduce accidents in low-light conditions, a major concern for drivers of that era. This innovation was considered a significant step forward in improving safety. However, this innovation faced its biggest hurdle from legislation. At the time, 17 states in the US had laws limiting vehicles to only 2 headlights. This conflict was a serious legal obstacle, forcing Tucker to design a cover for the third headlight to comply with regulations. Furthermore, critics questioned the practicality and safety of swiveling headlights, worrying about the potential for glare to oncoming drivers. Along with financial pressures and legal battles, the Tucker Company closed in 1950, with only 51 Tucker 48s produced. The company's tragic fate prevented this feature from being widely tested and popularized. Nonetheless, this unique design gave the Tucker 48 a distinct futuristic look, and it remains a symbol showing that the vision for adaptive lighting systems emerged very early. Head-up display, HUD. What if you could view essential information without taking your eyes off the road? Minimizing driver distraction has always been the goal of safety engineers, aiming to provide essential data right in the driver's field of vision. In 1988, the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme introduced a truly groundbreaking feature, the head-up display, HUD. This technology originated from fighter jets, helping pilots monitor critical data without looking down at the instrument panel. General Motors pioneered its adaptation for cars to enhance driver safety and convenience. The HUD system projected essential information like speed, turn indicators, and warnings directly onto the windshield in front of the driver. It used a vacuum fluorescent display to reflect the data. The benefit was clear: increased safety by keeping the driver's eyes focused on the road ahead, minimizing time spent looking down at the dashboard. The public was initially very excited, viewing this as technology straight out of science fiction movies. But HUD was an expensive feature with high production and integration costs. The complexity of integrating this technology into various models also posed challenges. Therefore, it remained an option only on high-end models for many years. Do you remember the first time you saw a car with modern technology? Share that moment in the comments below. Rocket V8 engine. If you love American muscle cars, you need to know about the Rocket. It is the name that defined an era of power and efficiency, a symbol of post-war technical innovation. In 1949, Oldsmobile introduced the Rocket V8 engine on the Futuramic 88 and 98 models. This engine is widely considered the first true American muscle car engine. The Rocket V8, with a displacement of 303 cubic inches and a high compression ratio of 7.5 to 1, produced 135 horsepower. An impressive figure for the time, superior to the dominant flathead engines. The introduction of the Rocket engine transformed the Oldsmobile 88 into a true high-performance machine. This car quickly dominated NASCAR tracks from 1949 to 1951, proving the superior power of the new engine. Public reception was extremely enthusiastic, to the extent that the engine even inspired songs like the song Rocket 88. It quickly became a symbol of American ingenuity and post-war technological optimism. As emission standards tightened and the focus shifted to fuel efficiency, this engine was eventually phased out in favor of newer technologies. The success of the Rocket spurred other automakers to develop their own high-performance engines, leading to fiercer competition. Electronic fuel injection (EFI). Before EFI, cars mainly used carburetors. They operated inaccurately, often leading to fuel waste, and were difficult to start in cold weather. The 1969 Volkswagen Type 3 was one of the first mass-produced cars to use Bosch's electronic fuel injection, EFI, specifically the D-Jetronic system. EFI uses sensors to measure air intake, temperature, and engine speed, after which the computer calculates and injects the precise amount of fuel needed. The benefits were clear: improved throttle response, easier starting, increased engine efficiency, and significantly reduced toxic emissions. The adoption of EFI also aligned with increasing environmental concerns. In the US, the system was quite well received due to stable starting, especially in cold weather. However, EFI faced skepticism from traditionalists and concerns about the reliability and high maintenance costs of early electronic systems. This complex system also required mechanics to undergo a new learning process for repairs. Despite initial reservations, EFI proved its value. Volkswagen set a trend. By the 1980s, EFI had become the industry standard, laying the groundwork for the sophisticated fuel management systems we see today. The VW Type 3 is proof of a leap that transformed how engines operate. Hydropneumatic suspension. Have you ever heard of a driving feeling like sitting on a magic carpet? That's the feeling the Citroën DS gave its drivers in the mid-20th century. The Citroën DS, launched in 1955, was not just an oddly beautiful car, but also possessed a revolutionary suspension system. Hydropneumatic suspension. This system replaced traditional coil springs with hydraulic components. It used gas spheres containing nitrogen gas as springs and hydraulic fluid as shock absorbers. This was a technological marvel, offering superior comfort and incredibly stable body control. This self-leveling system was capable of automatically adjusting the vehicle's ground clearance according to load and road conditions. Drivers could even adjust the height, allowing the DS to kneel for easier entry and exit, or raise it for better ground clearance. People praised the futuristic design and the DS's exceptional ride quality, describing it as an incredible car in terms of technology and comfort. Accompanying the magic was complexity. This system was extremely complex and had very high maintenance costs, requiring specialized technicians to maintain. As automotive engineering evolved, simpler suspension systems became more cost-effective. Citroën eventually eliminated this system from popular models in favor of simpler and more cost-effective suspension systems. Bristol 405 Central Driving Lamp. Driving at night, especially on dark rural roads or deserted highways, has always been a challenge for drivers. Even with two powerful headlights, blind spots ahead and to the sides remained a major concern, limiting visibility. Minimizing risk in low-light conditions was a top priority for luxury car manufacturers at the time. In 1955, the Bristol 405, a British luxury car, introduced a unique solution to enhance this safety: a third headlight placed centrally on the grille. This central driving lamp was designed to improve visibility, providing additional direct light ahead for the driver, especially during long night journeys. This was a practical solution, offering extra light so the driver could react promptly to obstacles on the road. The Bristol 405 was not only an elegant luxury sedan, it was the only four-door car ever produced by Bristol. Its unique design demonstrated advanced engineering, and the third headlight contributed to the car's distinctive style and pioneering appearance. It is a clear example of how luxury and safety often went hand in hand in the automotive industry during that period. However, although this unique design was praised for its aesthetics and safety purpose, it did not become a popular trend. This innovation appeared during a time when automotive standards were evolving and consumer preferences were rapidly changing. Like the attempts of the Tucker 48, the cost of production and the integration of a more complex electrical system were also factors preventing its widespread replication in the mass market. Despite its short fate, the third headlight on the Bristol 405 remains a unique feature in car history, reminding us of the early efforts to make nighttime driving easier and safer. Is there any car on this list that you have owned or driven? Tell us about your genuine experience in the comments. Automatic dimming rearview mirror. Try to imagine driving on a deserted road at night. Suddenly, the headlights of a car behind you shine directly into the rearview mirror, temporarily blinding you due to the glare. That discomfort and distraction can lead to dangerous situations on the road. The most common solution at the time was a mirror with a manual lever, requiring continuous, distracting intervention. As early as 1959, the Cadillac DeVille offered an extremely clever solution: the automatic dimming rearview mirror called Guidematic. Guidematic operated based on a light sensor. The system used a sensor to monitor light from behind. If strong lights were detected from behind, the mirror would automatically darken, reducing reflection and protecting the driver's eyes from glare. This technology truly was an invention ahead of its time, offering unprecedented convenience and safety. Instead of having to manually adjust the lever like traditional dual-layer mirrors, everything happened completely automatically, helping the driver focus more during nighttime driving. At the time, Guidematic was considered a rich man's toy, only appearing on luxury Cadillac models. Rain-sensing windshield wipers. Anyone who has driven has experienced this situation. It suddenly starts raining, and you are both stressed driving and fumbling to find the wiper switch, having to adjust the speed appropriately. Traditional mechanical wiper systems required drivers to constantly adjust them manually. However, few know that since the 1970s, Citroën quietly changed the game with automatic rain-sensing wiper technology, first appearing on the Citroën SM model. This system used sensors placed on the windshield. It automatically detected when water droplets hit the glass surface and immediately activated the wipers. Specifically, the system also automatically adjusted the wiper speed based on the actual rainfall. The heavier the rain, the faster the speed. This kept the windshield clear without the driver having to worry about adjustments. In an era where electronics and sensors were very rudimentary, this idea truly was decades ahead of its time. It helped drivers focus more on driving, especially in adverse weather conditions. Initially, this technology was still considered something for the future, appearing mainly on high-end models or concept cars from Citroën and some American manufacturers. Most mainstream customers remained loyal to mechanical wipers, mainly due to the high cost of this complex sensor system. It wasn't until the 1990s, thanks to rapid advancements in sensor and electronic technology, that production costs decreased and rain-sensing wipers gradually became widespread. Seatbelt reminder chime. If you ask any modern driver, they are surely familiar with the ting-ting sound emitted when the seatbelt is not fastened. That alarm sometimes annoys many people, especially when driving only a short distance. However, this system is one of the earliest life-saving features introduced into cars, appearing in the early 1970s when traffic safety awareness began to shift worldwide. Ford was one of the pioneering manufacturers installing seatbelt warning chimes on its models. When the driver or front passenger had not fastened the seatbelt, a sensor switch would activate a continuous audible warning, sometimes accompanied by a warning light on the dashboard. Initially, the public response was quite mixed. Some approved, viewing it as a silent reminder friend, but many felt annoyed and considered it excessive intervention. Many people tried to remove the chime or cut the sensor wires just to avoid hearing the annoying ringing every time they got into the car. The slow, widespread adoption initially was due to the psychological barrier from consumers, who had not fully accepted being reminded about safety by the car. These seemingly annoying sounds played an incredibly important role in raising seatbelt usage awareness, contributing to saving millions of lives worldwide. Statistics have shown that since the adoption of this warning system, the rate of seatbelt usage has soared, and the number of traffic fatalities has significantly decreased. Power windows. Try to imagine driving a car in the 1960s, midday sun, wanting to roll down the window. You had to use both hands to crank a small metal handle next to the driver's seat. That used to be an unavoidable experience for previous generations of drivers. However, as early as the 1940s, the American manufacturer Packard created a breakthrough with the invention of power windows, one of the most luxurious and convenient features of the time. With just a simple push of a button, the entire motor system would gently move the window up and down. For many, this was a symbol of class and technology on luxury cars. Those who experienced power windows for the first time couldn't help but marvel. It was the feeling of the future, a moment of ease in an era where everything still operated by manual mechanics. Initially, power windows only appeared on ultra-luxury cars like Packard, Cadillac, or Lincoln. Most mainstream consumers stuck to the mechanical crank. The slow adoption was mainly due to the high production cost of this complex electric motor and cable system. Automatic climate control and adjusting the temperature in the car was a true art. Having to turn knobs, adjust the fan, open and close windows just enough to be cool or warm. This required the driver to constantly adjust, causing distraction and never maintaining a stable temperature. However, the 1964 Cadillac 60 Special achieved the unbelievable for the time, integrating an automatic climate control system called Comfort Control. With this technology, you only needed to select the desired temperature level. Everything else, from fan speed, air volume, to the temperature of the air blowing out, was automatically adjusted by the electronic system, maintaining a stable atmosphere in the car, regardless of external weather conditions. This was an astonishing difference, providing perfect convenience. For car enthusiasts, it was nothing short of stepping into a new era where the car was a comfortable, mobile living space. Initially, automatic climate control only appeared on luxury models. The high production cost of this complex electronic system and skepticism about the reliability of temperature sensors and electronic controllers were major barriers. The slow adoption was mainly due to the price factor. Although the production cost was high at first, over time, automatic climate control proved its excellent practicality. By the 1990s, thanks to developed electronic technology and decreasing costs, many mid-range models also began to equip similar systems. Side airbags. Try to imagine sitting in your car, moving safely when suddenly a side collision occurs. In that moment, the risk of serious injury is extremely high because the gap between you and the car door is very small. Previously, airbags existed but only focused on the front to protect the driver in a head-on collision. That is why when Volvo launched the side airbag system on the 1994 Volvo 850 model, the automotive world was truly astonished and quickly recognized the importance of this invention. Volvo designed a compact airbag placed in the side of the seat, which deployed instantly upon side impact, forming a protective cushion for the torso and pelvis for both the driver and passenger. This was an important step in protecting occupants from injuries caused by objects penetrating from outside the car. Initially, many people wondered about its practical effectiveness, maintenance costs, or risk of malfunction. The complexity of integrating side collision sensors and airbag igniters into the seat side also increased production costs. Integrated navigation system. Today, finding directions has become easy with just a few taps on a smartphone or a car's touchscreen. But few know that the history of integrated navigation systems began more than 4 decades ago. The history started with the 1981 Toyota Crown and its Electro Multi-Vision system, the precursor to modern navigation systems. By 1986, the Honda Accord in Japan was equipped with the Honda Electro Gyrocator, considered the world's first in-car navigation system. These early navigation devices did not use GPS satellites like today. Instead, they relied on inertial sensors, gyroscope, and electronic paper maps. As the car moved, the system would redraw the route on a monochrome CRT screen, helping the driver track their relative position and direction of travel. Although it sounds rudimentary at the time, this was cutting-edge technology, often only appearing on luxury models or concept cars in Japan. For drivers in the 80s, the ability to no longer have to stop roadside to consult paper maps was also a way for us to preserve precious memories from the golden age. If you love nostalgic stories, want to revisit your youthful memories, and appreciate history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Back to Yesterday so we can explore more historical legacies together. Thank you for watching.